When a child depends on a parent for survival, they often adopt that parent's anxieties and expectations as their own. Psychologists call this symbiosis, the state where you live within a familial identity rather than your own. To address this, Alejandro Jodorowsky developed a radical alternative to traditional talk therapy. He argues that we must stop analyzing the past and start acting upon it. Jodorowsky built his credibility over decades as a surrealist filmmaker, earning international recognition at the Cannes Film Festival. Cannes is an annual, world-renowned film festival in France that showcases the industry's most influential work. His psychological method grew from a promise to give free tarot readings in Parisian cafes. Tarot is a deck of 78 symbolic cards used for psychological insight, and after 30 years of reading them, Jodorowsky identified a consistent pattern of inherited trauma in his consultants. Methodical. He realized traditional psychotherapy often fails because it uses rational language to speak to the unconscious. In his view, logic simply cannot reach the deeper parts of the mind that do not operate on reason. He called his solution psychomagic. It is a methodology that communicates directly with the unconscious using its native language, a mix of dreams, metaphors, and physical symbolic acts. Understanding a problem intellectually is merely a prelude. Jodorowsky believes that to shift from an infantile state to a functional adult ego, you must actually perform a physical, theatrical act that the unconscious mind registers as a permanent change in reality. To perform this ritual, you need specific materials: 2 distinct spools of ribbon, a pair of sharp scissors, a trowel, and 2 small potted plants. You and your parent must each choose a different ribbon color. This choice ensures that your separate identities remain visible even while you are tied together. Spatial orientation is the next step. Mothers and daughters must stand face to face, while mothers and sons must stand back to chest. Using the ribbon, bind yourselves together at the ankles, the waists, the wrists, and finally, the necks. This physical restriction makes the weight of your familial enmeshment something you can actually feel in your body. By turning an invisible trauma into a physical reality, you prevent the mind from rationalizing or ignoring the bond. While bound, you must look at your parent and say these exact words: "You are you, I am I." The parent is then required to repeat the phrase back to you, acknowledging your individual existence out loud. Take the scissors and cut through every ribbon connecting you, severing the physical tension between your body and theirs. The unconscious registers the moment that physical tension snaps, acknowledging the break from the child role you were previously playing. Because the unconscious mind does not distinguish between a metaphor and a literal event, this physical severing functions as a permanent change in your internal map. Jodorowsky insists that adding bad to bad changes nothing. In Psychomagic, every act of separation must finish with an act of creation. Take the severed pieces of ribbon to a patch of fertile soil and dig 2 adjacent holes. Do not mix the ribbons. Place the pieces from your parent's side and your side into their own separate holes. Plant a separate living flower or a fruit tree directly over each buried ribbon. Watching 2 separate root systems take hold provides the unconscious with visual proof of parallel, independent growth. Performing a ritual like this often triggers a deep sense of absurdity or embarrassment. Jodorowsky argues that pushing through that feeling of silliness is the true test of the iron will required to heal. Your mind has seen the invisible become visible, the ties destroyed, and a new foundation planted in the earth. To begin your own separation, tell us in the comments what specific plants you would choose to bury your past under. By removing the roles and names imposed by your family, you reveal what Jodorowsky calls the authentic self. In his view, this authenticity is the only place where health can truly be found.